Hi there, I'm Harry, and today we're going to be discussing 5 simple ways that you can implement AI into your business today. Now, to be clear, we're not talking about robots walking around an office. We're going to be discussing 5 simple ways and proven ways in which you can implement AI today as a beginner. Now, I'm not aiming to get you overly excited about AI, nor is this business advice. However, I am implementing some of these techniques and strategies into businesses currently. So the video agenda is as follows. I'm going to explain the 5 different ways. I'm going to provide use cases. I'm going to give you some recommended tools. I'm going to give you some actionable steps, and then I'm going to provide you with a link to my free ebook. So number 1 is large language models, also referred to as LLMs. Now, this is definitely the easiest way to get started, and I'm assuming a lot of you probably already have used an LLM, most likely ChatGPT. Now, there are several different LLMs out there. Majority of them have different use cases. Some are better for certain things than others. For example, you may have a marketing department, or you may just run ads for your business. If so, I would recommend a tool called Claude. I'll link that in the description. That's definitely the best for writing ad copy. In my opinion, it's just more humanized, and it seems like a human has typed it rather than sometimes ChatGPT. You can kind of tell that a robot has wrote it. Another example is Perplexity. Now, that in my opinion is the best tool that I use on a daily basis. I use it for research, so maybe in your case you could use it for market research, product research, strategy research, any type of research that you do, not just in business but also in your personal life. There's 2 different variants of Perplexity, the standard edition, and you've also got the pro edition. I think it's well worth the investment of $20 a month. Now, of course, be wary what you give these LLMs. I wouldn't go giving it sensitive data. There are a few examples of where a user has given it some of their own personal information. You don't want to be doing that. So if you're handling sensitive data, maybe you're a healthcare business, you'd want to be using something like compliant ChatGPT, which is a compliant version, a HIPAA compliant version of ChatGPT. I'll link that below. It can be quite costly depending on which version you go for. But again, you've got to compare the cost to if you were to get caught breaching and releasing data. It'd be a lot cheaper than the legal fees, that's for sure. But I'm pretty sure you can pick up a personal plan for the same price as Perplexity and ChatGPT, so that'll be about $20 a month. So overall, the point I'm making here is don't just use ChatGPT. Test several different LLMs out and see which is best for you. Get your employees to test different ones out, because maybe a marketing team would benefit a lot more from using Claude than they would ChatGPT or Perplexity. Now, to get the most out of these LLMs, you need to learn a concept called prompt engineering. Now, a prompt is what you give the LLM, or the instruction. For example, if I ask the LLM to find me the capital of France, it will then go and find that for me, if that makes sense. That's the instruction I've given it, so to find the capital of France. If you give it a rubbish prompt, you're going to expect a rubbish answer back. You can't expect much more than that. So maybe sometimes when you've been using an LLM and you've asked it to do something and you're not really pleased with the answer, a lot of the time that's just down to what you've given it. You've just given it a really broad and not very specific instruction of what you wanted. So put rubbish in, get rubbish out. So moving on to number 2 now is conversational AI assistants, also known as chatbots. However, I do not refer to them as chatbots because, in my opinion, the word chatbot is a commodity now, and everyone's perception of a chatbot is a lot different to the chatbots we get today. Now, when most people think of a chatbot, they think of that basic WordPress one, which has been around on websites for years, and they don't really have any use cases. As soon as you ask it a question and you try to get an answer out of it, it will just prompt you to email the team or the customer service department of the company you're trying to reach. Again, they just don't really have any use case, so that's how most people see a chatbot these days. But AI has completely changed the game when it comes to chatbots or conversational AI assistants. Now, you'd use a conversational AI assistant to kind of act like another employee on your website, a guy or a person who can answer questions, book in appointments and stuff. Really useful. It can take a lot of the tasks off of your staff's time and your time. Of course, there are several benefits of a conversational AI assistant. One is 24/7 ability, doesn't need to sleep. Another is cost effectiveness. It can also reduce a lot of operational costs. The focus of your employees can be shifted elsewhere now. They don't have to answer these questions. You can also automate routine tasks, appointment scheduling, rescheduling, onboarding, welcome emails. Another example is payment reminders. I know a lot of time you can have an appointment somewhere and you forget to pay, or they don't tell you to pay at the desk. Second that you see there's a missing payment, you can prompt the AI to message or contact that patient or customer, tell him that he has an outstanding bill. And also, humans can take over the conversation at any point. There are several softwares that allow you to do this, several platforms. So maybe if the conversation isn't going where it needs to be because of the AI assistant, you can always hop in and take over. Now, there are a few platforms in which you can build these conversational assistants on. VoiceFlow and Chatbot Builder AI are great ones. BotPress is another great one, but my personal favorite is Chatbot Builder AI. In fact, I recently just moved over to that one from VoiceFlow. But new builders are coming out every single day, and I've kind of felt that because I got so used to VoiceFlow and I was so good at using it, and then this new one came along and I much prefer it. In my opinion, it's much more advanced. So you learn one and then you end up learning another one. And in fact, if you come back in a year's time, I'd probably be using a different one as well. Now, number 3 is automating administrative tasks using platforms and websites such as Make.com and Zapier. Pretty much any administrative task can be fully automated or partly automated at this point. Of course, the more complex the administrative task, the more time and financial investment it may require. So some different maybe examples and use cases is, again, appointment scheduling, appointment reminders, payment reminders. A few more is lead management and follow-up. It can remind you when to follow up. But a great example is content creation. Now, it's 2024, so we should all be creating content for our business, and we can actually have AI plan or create a lot of the content. For example, maybe a LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook post. Instead of taking hours to maybe craft a few posts, AI can do it in a couple of seconds. You can just feed it some information or some relevant posts and it can craft it off of that. I actually have AI create a lot of my LinkedIn posts. I give it some sort of style that I want to follow. I give it a topic and a lot of information that I'd like it to post it off of or base the post off of. And within a few seconds, I've got a fully, crafted LinkedIn post there made all by AI. Of course, there are parts of the post that I do often change just to make it sound a bit more like me. I add to the post and delete little parts, but again, it saves me so much time. But yeah, you can do a lot of this yourself using, as I said, websites like Make.com and Zapier, which I'll link below. To start off, I would probably pick a simple administrative task and then maybe work your way up. If you'd like to see an example of me creating a content creation, automation or workflow on Make or Zapier, please leave a comment below because that was actually a video I was thinking of making. Now, number 4 is voice AI assistants. We're getting slightly more advanced here. Now, please be aware that I do not personally think that voice AI is there yet. I don't think it's at the standard that it should be yet for me to be confident to implement it into a business. However, the good news is it gets better and better every day. We're currently at the worst point that it will be at. Tomorrow it'll be better than it was today. Now, a lot of businesses implement voice AI to help with their front desk and take a lot of strain off their front desk. So maybe, for example, a healthcare business, they get a lot of patients ringing up trying to schedule appointments. They have maybe some problems they'd like to have seen to, or they have some questions. A lot of the time, a company now or a healthcare business will put a voice AI assistant in front of that, and that can actually answer a lot of the questions and make a lot of the appointments for them, because then now they can put their staff's attention and time elsewhere. So I'll give you some more examples. I already mentioned appointment scheduling, rescheduling. You could also have it answer a lot of your mundane questions, or maybe your FAQs. So if you're getting phoned a lot and asked the same questions pretty much all the time, you can just give it a list of the questions with the answers, and whenever someone rings up, asks that question, it will be able to answer it because it will know the answer. And this isn't just, during working hours, this will be 24/7. Another example is customer service. So if customers want to ring up and they have questions, they want to track an order, they want a refund, make a complaint, the voice AI can actually handle this. And another good thing is humans are able to take over the conversation, of course, during working hours. So if the person wants to speak to an agent, or the conversation isn't as going as well, or the AI doesn't know what to say, you can always transfer it over to one of your customer service agents. Voice AI is also good at listening in on conversations, so it can take meeting notes, or it can note down things during calls or whatever. I actually know a lady based in Miami who owns a real estate company, and she's already implementing a similar system like this. What it does, it's a pre-lead qualification system that when a potential buyer of one of her properties, or someone who's trying to rent one of her properties, rings up, it will have a list of all different types of questions that it would use to determine whether this person was qualified enough to rent or purchase one of the properties. And it's also trained on 300 plus FAQs, so when the potential lead also has questions for the system, it will be able to answer them just as one of the customer service agents would be able to. And then it can also help determine whether or not this lead is qualified enough or not. So this will save a lot of time, probably 30 minutes of one of our agents on the phone and answering and asking all these questions. And it can also help determine whether or not it's worth then dealing with that lead from then on. So that's probably saves an hour each time. Also, these phone systems and voice AI systems can be turned off at any time. So if you just want to go back to the traditional manual process, then no problem. Some platforms and websites you can build this on are Synthflow and Vappy. Personal favorite of mine is Synthflow. I was thinking of maybe doing a tutorial on how to build one of these systems out soon. So if you'd like to see this, then reply in the comments and I'll get that recorded. Now the fifth and final one is AI agents, and this is by far the most advanced suggestion on the video. Now AI agents can pretty much do any human task that involves data. And this is a very interesting topic as well, actually, because these AI agents can work in teams just as we would do. So for example, I'll give an example of a research team or a research agent. Let's say in a business world now, you wanted to research a lead or an ideal customer of yours. You could maybe have a team of 3 agents. One would research the history of the company or of your lead. The other would research their current projects or things that they've been in the news for example. And then the third agent could research their owner or their founders or some of their employees. To think about how much time this would save you, and your employees searching up ideal customers, finding out about their background, about what they're doing currently, about some of their employees and some of their owners. It will literally within seconds go out, find all the information, bring it back into the team, and then it will present it to you. You can instruct it on pretty much any information you want. If you want specific things, if you don't want it to give you back certain things, you can tell it. Companies actually use it for personalized outreach as well. So there's been several times on LinkedIn where I think I'm speaking to someone or speaking to an actual person, because on their profile they are a real person. They know everything about me. They talk about things that I've posted about. And what actually happens is you're having a conversation, and it will turn the conversation and say, oh, did you know that this conversation was fully AI automated? And then of course they try and turn that into a pitch. But the point is, a lot of these times these AI agents can do all that research on you. They can mention things that you talk about people or voices that you follow on LinkedIn, and then use that to make it seem like it's a real person. That's just an example of how advanced these systems are. It's really hard to know if it's a human or an AI agent. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't have known that that was an AI agent until they switched the conversation and tried to pitch me the services. Now, it will most likely require a developer to help you build one of these, but if you did want to have a go, a website like Crew AI is probably a good place to get started. I'll also link that one below. Now, of course, there are many other ways in which you could start implementing AI, but if you're still unsure, definitely just start simple. Maybe start using and testing different LLMs out, suggest a few to your team and your employees and see what they find best for their certain role. As I mentioned, the marketing example, maybe your marketing team or your research team, they can use different models to suit their role best. But if I'm honest, the best way to get started is just identifying what tasks take up the most of you and your employees' time. So my actionable step is to think, what do you need exactly and what consumes the most of your time? When you know this, you'll be able to identify exactly where AI can benefit you the most. There's so many ways you can cut out your manual work just by leveraging AI. So I hope you learned something from this video, and if you want to continue watching my channel, click here for my latest video. And if you're a non-technical business owner who's trying to implement AI into their business, see the description below where you can download the free copy of my ebook. Thank you.